Hello, in today's video we will talk about pH regulation and buffers. This is from the acid-base balance chapter. Okay, so we will divide it into the introduction, the buffers and the pH regulation. Now, let us identify the introduction. So basically what is pH? pH is equal to negative log to the base 10 of H plus concentration. It can be direct or inverse relation. The normal blood pH is 7.35 to 7.45, and please remember this because when we discuss arterial blood gas, this is going to be very helpful. So we can either identify acidosis or alkalosis. Acidosis means less than 7.35, alkalosis means greater than 7.45. Now, what is a buffer? Buffers are the ones which are responsible to regulate and make the pH constant. That is the role of a buffer. Okay, so we will discuss three important buffers: bicarb, phosphate and protein buffer. First, identifying the bicarb buffer. It's a combination of weak acid, carbonic acid with a strong base or a conjugate base, that is carbonic acid. As you are seeing here, the ionic dissociation by of carbonic acid is happening. It's a reversible process. Now, we will discuss two important laws. One is the law of mass action, as you can see, and another is the Henderson-Hasselbalch equation, as you can see. So first, the law of mass action. It states that the ratio of the concentration of the products to that of the reactants is constant. That is, Ka is equal to H plus concentration into A minus as that of divided by Ha. Okay. So the constant here is Ka, that is acid dissociation constant. If it is a base, base dissociation constant. But Ka is what we will commonly use in this chapter. Next is Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. Okay, that is nothing but pH is equal to pK plus log of base by acid, or in place of base salt can also be taken. So it is the relation of pH, pKa, the base or the salt and the acid. Okay, now let us apply the same equation to bicarb buffer. So how we will write it? pH is equal to pK plus log of bicarb ion by carbonic acid. So what is the acid? Carbonic acid. What is the base? That is the bicarb ion. So bicarb ion, let us take to be 24 millimoles per liter. Normal is 22 to 26 millimoles per liter. Carbonic acid 1.2, normal is around 1 to 2. Okay. And pKa is 6.1. Okay. Substitute all this, we will get the ratio of carbonic acid by, sorry, bicarb ion by carbonic acid as 20 by 1. Okay, and the final result will be 7.4. Here you must be wondering about this log 20 and 1.3. So I will tell you a simple trick how to get it. There is a mathematical formula, that is log AB is equal to log A plus log B. Now in place of AB, take it 20. 20 is what? 2 into 10. So log 2 plus log 10. Log 2 is 0.3. Log 10 is 1. So we'll get 1.3. Now after doing this, 7.4 is the result. That means what? At a concentration or at a pH of 7.4, this buffer is effective. And if we compare all the three buffers together, bicarb buffer is the most effective. Okay. So can we say, is this alkalosis, acidosis or what? In fact, it is neither alkalosis or neither acidosis. It is normal because 7.35 to 7.45. But what is the value here? 7.40. So I can say it is normal. Okay. Now, this is important for a phenomenon called as alkali reserve. It is important for the effective buffering of the H plus ions and also to maintain a 20:1 ratio. This is alkali reserve. Okay. Now, next is phosphate buffer. So we have a strong base, that is diphosphoric acid, or a conjugate base I can say. The weak acid is triphosphoric acid. Okay. So it is a tribasic acid and this is the dissociation of it. Triphosphoric acid becoming di is becoming mono. Okay. And mono is breaking down into H plus and phosphate. Remember, in all the three steps, we have H plus and phosphate in place. Okay. Okay. This is very important. And just observe the pK. How is it? pK is increasing, is it not? That's the point. Now, let us apply Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. Anyway, we don't have the values of salt by acid. Okay. We have pKa as 6.8, which is roughly the pKa of the histidines imidazole. Okay. And pH, take it as 7.4 as we took for the bicarb buffer. Now subtract those two, 0.6 will be there. Take the log to the left side. Anti-log 0.6 is salt by acid, or I can say it is 4/1. Actually, anti-log 0.6 is 4. Okay. If we compare with bicarb, it is 20/1. Here it is 4/1. Difference 1/5. Lastly, we have the protein buffer. So the protein buffer, what is the structural unit of protein? Amino acid. And what is the main amino acid in hemoglobin? That is histidine. So this protein buffer will depend on the pKa of the imidazole of the histidine. Okay, that's the point. Now we get into the pH regulation. Buffers completed. Now pH regulation. We have the respiratory and the renal regulation. Now, let us see the respiratory first. Can see the transport of CO2 through the mediation of hemoglobin. So, in the tissues, in the blood and in the lungs. So, in the tissues, we have more water combines with carbon dioxide by enzyme carbonic anhydrase. This is reversible to form carbonic acid. Ionic dissociation, bicarbonate and H plus. Okay. Now two protons are there that will form 4O2. So in the RBC, hemoglobin is there. It will first combine with 4O2 and then two protons. It will be reversible. And in the lungs, exactly what I said. Reverse of what I said in the tissues. Okay. And extra we have to remember that CO2 is getting exhaled out. Okay. That's the point. Now, we need to remember chloride shift. The first diagram is more important here than the second. Okay. So what is the chloride shift? It is the entry of chloride into the RBC and the release of bicarb ion to maintain electrical neutrality. Why neutrality? Positive and negative, won't they become neutral together? Right. So let us see how does it happen in the, okay, this is in the cells and this is the plasma or in the RBC. So in the RBC, we have water and carbon dioxide which is coming from the cells. Okay. On the enzyme carbonic anhydrase, we are getting carbonic acid. Ionic dissociation is happening. H plus forms HBH, whereas bicarb ion is coming out to allow the chloride inside. This is the chloride shift. This is what is happening in the tissues. Exactly reverse in the lungs. Okay. We are breathing in oxygen and releasing the carbon dioxide. Okay. Reverse of what I said in the tissues. Now we will see the renal mechanism. So four important processes. One is called as excretion of H plus, Another is called as respiration of bicarbonate, or sorry, reabsorption of bicarbonate, then titrable acid and excretion of ammonia. So we'll go one by one. Now, first is excretion of H plus. So you can see very well, sodium from the tubular lumen enters the plasma through the PCT. Okay. Then the CO2 and water in the PCT combine to form H2CO3 and ionic dissociation is happening as you can see there. H plus is combining with the base in the lumen to form BH. That's how it's excreted. So remember, for all these four processes, two things are common. One, the combination of CO2 and H2O to form carbonic acid and the ionic dissociation, okay, and the transport of sodium from the lumen into the plasma via the PCT. This is common for all the four, okay. And I will just tell you what we need to remember, what is extra to be added in these four. Here, what we need to add is the H plus combining with the base in the lumen to form BH. Okay. Here, what we need to know is H plus is combining with the bicarb ion that is coming from the dissociation of the sodium hydrogen carbonate, as you can see, sodium and carbonic bicarb ion, that is forming the carbonic acid, and that forms CO2 and H2O. This is more easy because it's reverse of what is happening in the cell. Okay. Extra point is this: sodium hydrogen carbonate dissociates to form sodium and bicarb ion. Okay. And reverse of what happened in the cell will also happen in the lumen. Now, the third mechanism, titrable acid. So, from disodium hydrogen phosphate, we are getting sodium and sodium monohydrogen phosphate. Now, this is combining with the H plus which we got from the tubular cell. We'll get sodium dihydrogen phosphate, and that is excreted in the urine. So, pH is dropping from 7.4 to 5.4. Drop of how much? 2. Now, in the last one, we need to remember it is combining with ammonia, which is coming from the formation of glutamate to glutamine. Okay, this when we discuss the acidic amino acids, we will see that detailed reaction. Okay, for now, just remember glutamate to glutamine, when it is happening, ammonia is released out, and that is combining with our H plus from the tubular cell to form ammonia. So these are the four processes in the renal. Now the references from where I took the Vasudevan 6th edition and the Satyanarayana 3rd edition. So that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.